Good morning, students. So today we are going to start with fourth unit, structure of atom, and we are going to discuss about two important models of atom: Thomson's model of an atom and Rutherford's model of an atom. Okay. So first of all, let us discuss with the help of activities about the charged particle present in matter. Okay, now see, very first activity. If we comb our hair, which are dry, and then if we bring the comb near the very small pieces of paper, then what happens? These small pieces of paper will get attached with the comb. Similarly, if we take a glass rod and we rub it with silk cloth and bring that particular rod near the balloon which is filled with air, then what is going to happen? Balloon is going to go away from the rod. Okay, now here what we are seeing, we know that opposite charges attract each other and similar charges repel each other. So in case of comb, it has attracted paper, so it means there is opposite charge between paper and comb. Similarly, glass rod was moving the inflated balloon away, it means there was similar charges. So on the basis of these observations, we can come to a conclusion that when we rub the two objects, then they become electrically charged. So when I rubbed my comb with dry hair, then there was development of charge. Okay, similarly, when I rubbed this glass rod with silk cloth, then also there was involvement or development of charge. Now the question comes, from where this charge comes? From where this charge will come? Now the charge will come from the atoms. Okay, which atoms? Atoms of that particular substance, just like atoms of hair, okay, or atoms of comb, or atoms of silk cloth, or atoms of glass rod. Okay, so from this what we can conclude? We can conclude that atom is not the unit which is not undividable, but it can be easily divided, and there must be presence of some charged particles in the atom. So from these activities we concluded that there is presence of charged particles in the atom, and when we rub, then what happens? Those charged particles move from one matter to other matter, and because of that there is development of charge. Okay, now let us discuss the brief history, how scientists came to know about different subatomic particles present in the atom. Okay, so near about 1900, it was known to us that atom is indivisible. Okay, but it was known to us that at least there is one subatomic particle. Okay, that subatomic particle was named electron, and it was given by J.J. Thomson. So the very first thing which we should know is that near about 1900 AD, what is known to us? It was known to us that there was presence of some subatomic particle in the atom, and atom was indivisible. Okay, now after some time what happened? One more scientist, E. Goldstein, okay, in 1886 he discovered the presence of new radiations in a gas discharge and called them as canal rays. These rays were positively charged radiations, and it was found after the study that these rays were consisting of another subatomic particle, and that subatomic particle was named as proton. Okay, now if we compare electron and proton, then the mass of proton was 2000 times than mass of electron. Okay, so what we can say now, we can say that J.J. Thomson was the scientist who discovered electron. Okay, and E. Goldstein was another scientist who performed one experiment that is called discharge tube experiment. On the basis of that experiment, he discovered another subatomic particle, and that particle is named as proton. The mass of proton was near about 2000 times the mass of electron. Electron can be represented like this, E negative. Okay, proton can be represented like P positive. Okay, now one more thing which we have to remember is, since mass of proton is 2000 times than that of electron, so what we can consider, we can consider that mass of electron is negligible. Negligible means almost zero. Okay, and charge on this was considered as 1 unit negative charge, and charge on proton was considered as 1 unit positive charge. Okay, now one more thing which we can remember is that protons were in the interior of the atom. Protons were in the interior portion, in the innermost portion of the atom, but electrons were outside, and so they can be removed easily, but removal of proton was difficult. Okay, so this much was known to us earlier. Now then came how, if there is presence of proton and electron, then how should be the structure of atom. So according to Dalton atomic theory, what was known to us? It was known to us that atom is indivisible and indestructible. Okay, but when J.J. Thomson and E. Goldstein, they discovered the two fundamental particles, two subatomic particles, electron and proton, then this theory, this postulate of theory failed. Okay, so what was known to us? It was known to us that atom is divisible and it is made up of electrons and protons. Now it was required that how the structure of atom should look like. Okay, and how these electrons and protons should be arranged. So the very first scientist who gave the model of atom, that atom should be like this, that is known as J.J. Thomson, and his model is known as J.J. Thomson's model of an atom, or simply Thomson's model of an atom. Now what was there in his model? Thomson said that atom is similar to that of a Christmas pudding. Okay, just like a sweet dish which is prepared in Christmas, it is like that. The electrons in a sphere of positive charge. There is a sphere of positive charge, and electrons are like currents. Currents means dry fruits in a spherical Christmas pudding. So what he said that just like there is a sweet dish in a bowl, so the negatively charged electrons are like dry fruits which are there in the pudding, and the whole of the pudding that contains positive charge. Okay, he said that this can also be compared with watermelon. Okay, where positive charge is spread all over the sphere, just like red part of the watermelon, while electrons are like the black seeds present in the watermelon. Okay, so this model of Thomson was also known as plum pudding's model or watermelon model of an atom. Now see what Thomson said. Thomson said that an atom consists of a positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. Embedded means they are placed in a very fixed position. Okay. Second postulate was the negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude. So the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So these 2 points are of Thomson model of an atom. First is that atom consists of a positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. And second is the negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude. So the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. Okay, now see, if we see this model, then what is explained by this model? Since positive and negative charge is equal, so this model explains the electrical neutrality, that the atom is neutral. But after this model, there were more studies and there were more experiments from which some results came, and they were not in agreement with this, what is said by Thomson. Okay, so but Thomson model was the first model, so it is important model. What he said, on that researches were done, and then few things are found wrong and few were there which helped them to study more. Now see, in this picture you can see this is the model of atom, and you can compare this with watermelon, where a red portion is the positive charge and black seeds are like electrons. Okay, so this was Thomson's model of an atom. Now let us come to Rutherford's model of an atom. Okay, now see, the name of scientist is Ernest Rutherford. What he said, he he was interested to know that how these electrons will be arranged in the atom. Okay, so he designed one experiment, and that experiment is known as Rutherford's scattering experiment. Okay, in that experiment what he did, he took fast moving alpha particles. Now what is alpha particle? Alpha particle is helium nucleus. Okay, helium nucleus. Helium nucleus means there is presence of plus 2. Okay, so helium nucleus means there is presence of plus 2 charge. Okay, now what he did, he took a gold foil. Okay, he took a gold foil which was very thin. Okay, this was about 1000 atoms thick. Okay, which is very thin. Now he took alpha particles. Those alpha particles are, as I said, doubly charged helium ions. Okay, now they are fast moving and they have enough amount of energy. Okay, now what he did, he started throwing the alpha particles on the thin gold foil, and then he observed that what happens to those alpha particles. Okay, so alpha particles, what he said, he expected that alpha particles would be deflected by subatomic particles in the gold atoms, because see, what was there till that time, it was known that if this is the atom, then there is presence of positive charge throughout. So he took positively charged alpha particles and he made them to strike with this. Okay, so what he expected, that since they are also positively charged and this sphere is also positively charged, so it will repel. Okay, so this was not seen as a result. So results were totally different. Okay, so what were the results and how this experiment was conducted, this you can see. Okay, now see, in this diagram you can see this is the source of alpha rays. Okay, this is the source from which alpha rays will be given out, or alpha particles will be given out, and this is the gold foil. Okay, now we started throwing alpha particles directly on the thin gold foil, and we observed that so many were there which went directly through the gold foil, and few were there which were deflected by small angle. Now see, what is the angle? See, this is the line and this is the angle. Okay, or we can say this is the angle. So this was deflection by small angle. see, this should be the straight line, and if it has gone this side, then this is the angle, and if it has gone this side, then this is the angle. So this is deflection by small angle. Similarly, very few were found like this, that they are moving like this. Okay, so this is very large deflection. Okay, so three observations were there. What were the three observations? Very first observation, most of the fast moving alpha particles passed straight through the gold file. So many alpha particles passed through the gold file straight. Okay, some of the alpha particles were deflected by small angles. Now what is this deflection? This is the deflection. This is small angle deflection. This is small angle deflection. Okay, so third point is that if we have thrown 12,000 particles, then out of 12,000 particles, one particle was there which came back or got deflected by very large angle. See, this may happen that this has gone like this, and in the same way it has returned. So such thing was observed in one particle out of 12,000 particles. Or it was observed that if this is the direct moving ray, then if it has come like this, then this is large deflection. So this was very less, but it was also found. So these three postulates were found from the Rutherford scattering experiment. Now, how it was explained? Okay, now see in this diagram, this much portion, these round ones are particles in the gold file. See, this is gold file, and these are the particles present in the gold file. Now, how he explained that when alpha particles, these are alpha particles, these arrows are of alpha particles. When alpha particles are coming, then many of them are going directly. So many of them are going directly, it means that positive charge should not be present in the whole atom. But this dot which you are able to see, this thing he named it as nucleus. Okay, so what he said, Rutherford, that positive charge is present at the center, and that center is called nucleus. So there is presence of so much vacant space in the atom, so that alpha particles can directly go and move without any change. But when some alpha particle comes near the center where it is called nucleus, then it gets deflected by a small angle. Just like here in this, you can see this is alpha ray. Now it has come near the nucleus. This is nucleus, it has come near it, and now it has moved like this. Okay, so it has deflected by a small angle. Okay, so this was also obtained. In the third form, what was obtained? That, see this, you can see here what happened, alpha ray came, it directly strike with the center, and then it has moved like this. Okay, so this is large deflection. This is the proposed path, and this is the angle through which it has deflected. So it is large deflection. Okay, so these were the three observations which were explained in such a way that there is presence of positive part at the center, and that center is called nucleus. Okay, now let us revise this. Rutherford concluded from the alpha particle scattering experiment that most of the space inside the atom is empty. Okay, for first observation, most of the space inside the atom is empty because most of the alpha particles passed through the gold file without getting deflected. Okay, second point, very few particles were deflected from their path, indicating that the positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. Okay, so since few particles were deflected from their path, it means positive charge is there, but it is at the center and it occupies very less space. Okay, Similarly, a very small fraction of the alpha particles were deflected by 180 degree, indicating that all the positive charge and mass were concentrated in a very small volume within the atom. Okay, so when positive particle will strike with that positively charged nucleus, then it will get large deflection or it may come back. Okay, so from this observation, what he calculated, that radius of the nucleus is about 10 raised to power 5 times less than the radius of atom. Okay, so this was the conclusion. Now on these explanations, he proposed that how the model of atom should be, how our atom should look like. Okay, so what he has said, he has given 3 points. First point, there is a positively charged center in an atom called the nucleus. Okay, nearly all the mass of the atom resides in the nucleus. So very first point was that positive charge is at the center, and that center is called nucleus. Okay, and all the mass resides in the nucleus. Second point, electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular path. Okay, so second point was where electrons lie, they lie outside the nucleus and they revolve continuously in the circular path. Similarly, third point, the size of the nucleus is very small as compared to size of the atom. So it means there is too much vacant space inside the atom. Now the question comes whether we follow a Rutherford model or there was some drawback. So there was one drawback in Rutherford's model of an atom. Okay. Now what was the drawback? Rutherford said that electrons move around the nucleus at high speed and they move continuously. Now scientists studied this fact and they came to conclusion that this thing was wrong. Whatever was said, that is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because electrons are negatively charged particles and nucleus is positively charged. So when a charged body moves around another charged body, it loses energy, and when it loses energy, then its path will change. How it will change? The distance from the nucleus will keep on continuously decreasing, and our electron, which is moving outside the nucleus, will follow a spiral path. Now what is spiral path? This is the spiral path. See, in the beginning electron was here and then it started coming near the nucleus because of loss of energy, and ultimately what is going to happen? It will fall in the nucleus. It will fall in the nucleus means that it will come so near that it will touch the nucleus, and if it happens, then it means our atom will collapse. Atom will collapse means atom will not exist. But we know that matter is possible, matter exists, any form of matter exists. So it means atom should not collapse, it should be stable and it should exist. So this was the drawback of Rutherford's model of an atom. Means whatever he said, on the basis of that, it was not possible for atom to exist. So there was some correction needed in what he said. Okay, so because of this mistake, Rutherford's model of an atom was discarded. Okay, now whatever we have done, on the basis of that you have to solve these home assignments. Okay, thank you.